Do you want to know how to optimize a web page to get found on the first page of Google search results? Well, that's what I'm going to show you how to do in this episode of SEO Snacks. SEO Snacks. Hello and welcome to SEO Snacks, bite-sized SEO tips and hacks that you can implement straight away. My name's Janelle, I'm an SEO consultant from ContentQueen, and today I'm going to be taking you through how I optimize a web page for Google. So, as this is called SEO Snacks, naturally snacks are involved, so let's find out what my snack of the week is. And this week we have Nobby's Pork Crackle Spicy Barbecue. So what happens with SEO Snacks is I have until I finish my snack to tell you my SEO hack. So let's get going. Oh, a bit weird. I've never had this before. Pork crackle, looks like dried up chips. Not sure how I feel about these. Remember, if you'd like to nominate a snack, drop it in the comments and it'll feature in a future episode. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do in order to optimize a web page to get found in Google is to know what keyword you want to target. So in episode 2, 3 and 4, I covered how to do keyword research, what keywords are and why they're important. So if you haven't watched those yet, make sure you go back and watch them after this and you'll have more of an idea of what to do. These are like, I could break a tooth. So once you have the keyword that you want to get found for, you can optimize a web page for it. I'm going to show you how I optimized my client's web page for affordable videographer, which was the keyword that we selected in the previous episode. So here's how I went and did it. So number one, what we need to do is we need to create a new page, which is what I've done here. And up the top you've got your URL, which is the slug if you're using WordPress, and you want your keyword to be in there. So my keyword I've used is videographer-Wellington, always have a hyphen in between, nothing else. And that's because it's part of my keyword, but I didn't want to put affordable in there because I thought it would just be keyword stuffing in a sense. If you use affordable all the time, then Google's going to be like, oh, you're over optimizing, that means you're a bit spammy and I'm not going to show you in search results. Cool. Number 2 is I need a heading, which is the H1, or your title. So this is what sits at the very top of your page. It's the most important heading on your page. And for this one, I've just put Videos by Ricky because that's what he calls himself. So Videos by Ricky is still optimized for affordable Wellington videographer because it's got videos in the title. So that's still fine. We don't want to over optimize, you know. And next I've got affordable videography for weddings, events, marketing and small businesses in Wellington, New Zealand. That's got my keywords in it, and I think this is a nice introductory paragraph that tells everyone what this page is about and that it's affordable videography for all these sorts of events in Wellington, New Zealand. So I've got my keywords in there. It's not keyword stuffing, it's actually nice to read for the user and it tells them they're in the right place. This is called an H2 tag. How you enter these I'm going to go over later, but it's just basic things in the back end of your CMS. It's quite easy to find. So the reason it's an H2 is because you only have one H1 on the page, which was Videos by Ricky, and H2 then is one down from that, so that one is Videography Services because that's to do with the keywords we want it to be found for. Then I've got some more text to do with Ricky being a budding videographer, he's affordable, and just basically just providing the reader with the information that they need to make an informed decision. However, also optimizing this page to get found in Google by including all the different keywords that make sense. So when we did our keyword research, we actually found lots of keywords that people were typing into Google that was quite similar to videographer Wellington and showing intent to hire a videographer. I wanted to utilize the affordable sort of keywords, but now what I've ended up doing is using some of these other keywords in my copy to better optimize this page for Google. So it's essentially just about copywriting and write nice copy that's to the point, but also includes the keywords that you want it to be found for. It's not rocket science. SEO is actually essentially about copywriting and creating great content. So down here I've just got affordable videos for every occasion. Now that tag is also an H2 because it's another important part of this page, and then I just list out all the different types of videos he can create. That's partly because it targets lots of keywords to do with what I'd like them to be found for, and 2, it's good for the user because they can say, okay, tick, I want a videographer who's affordable for a birthday party, and he does it. So there we go. It's essentially just about providing the best possible information to the user and just being straight to the point. Then I've got the price. Obviously he's $100 an hour, which is super cheap for a videographer, which means that he does live up to his name of affordability. And down here, obviously he's a videographer, so we need some video examples. These are just embedded from YouTube because that's a way to keep the page nice and quick. So if you embed it from YouTube, that means that people aren't having to download this content as it's hosted on YouTube and not your website. A key part of optimizing a page for SEO is actually making sure that it's fast loading. This is why you probably look at this page and you're like, oh, it's so simple. Well, yeah, it just needs to be simple because you want it to load as quickly as humanly possible, because the faster it loads, the more chances it has of showing up in search engines, because Google's like, oh god, this page is really fast loading, that's good, I'm going to show it first. But one most important part of SEO and optimizing a page is your meta title. This is what shows up in Google when you type things in. It's in the blue text. So, affordable videographer, type it in, see right here, affordable Wellington videographer. Oh, there's my videos by Ricky page. So that's the meta title, and it's the most important part of optimizing a page. Google still considers it to be one of the leading ranking factors because this is meant to accurately describe what your page is about and what a user can expect to find when they click through to it, right? So my page is about my affordable Wellington videographer, which is Ricky. So if someone's searching for that, and this has come up obviously under affordable videographer, so it's the first result. Well, this is the first organic result, apart from the local pack. So the meta title is the most important part because it tells people what your page is about and what they can expect to find when they click through to it. Google uses it to work out what your page is about, and people use it to decide whether or not it's relevant to what they're looking for and whether or not they're going to click through to your website. So the meta title is the most important part, and it should include your keyword in it. The keyword, the main keyword that you want to be found for, should definitely be included at the beginning of your meta title because this is what Google is going to use. Alright, so key parts of optimizing a page for Google. Number 1 is that you need to know what keyword you're actually going to target. What keywords do you want that page to be found for? Because that's going to pave the way for what content you create for that web page. So number 2 is your title. So this is the biggest title on the page. It's also called your H1 tag. And that should include sort of variation or your keyword that you want it to be found for. Then you need a nice introduction that has the keyword you want the page to be found for and a nice coherent sentence that accurately describes what your page is about, what your offering is. Then you've got your H2 tag, which is your subheading of your heading. This is also another important heading that helps to describe what that page is about and more information to do with that page. So you can have multiple subheadings on a page, and they should all be relevant to what you want it to be found for and include keyword variations. So I had videos by Ricky, which was my H1, and then we went into videography services, affordable videography services for all occasions. You know, just mix it up a bit and make it sort of showcase what your offering is without keyword stuffing. So we also need to make sure the URL has your keyword included in it, and make sure you use hyphens. Don't use any other special characters, and make sure you do separate the words. Remember, your copy needs to be valuable. It needs to provide good information, and it can't just be affordable videographer Wellington repeated 20,000 times. Google's going to be like a disgusting spammer. You need to make sure that your copy is well written and it provides value for the reader and helps them to understand more about what you offer and that they're in the right place. They've found what they're looking for. You also need to include videos or images. If you include videos, make sure you embed them from YouTube or Vimeo or something like that. Make sure you don't actually upload it to your website because it's going to slow it down. Your web page needs to be simple and fast, remember? Next thing is to include images in your web page. I didn't in this instance because I had videos, but I would say if you don't include videos, make sure you include a few images. And also optimize the images by making sure that they're nice and small, no bigger than 200 kilobytes so that they load fast. You don't want them to slow your page down. Also include alt text, which you just right click on the image or in your content management system and add some alt text that explains what the image is. This is for vision impaired people, but it's also what Google uses to better understand what their image is, because Google can't actually see images, it has to read them. So just make sure that's another opportunity to include your chosen keyword in your image description, or your alt text, sorry. And also the title tag, the most important part of the page, which I showed you, is what the blue text that shows up when you type a query into Google. So that's what people use to decide whether or not they want to click through to your web page, if it's what they really are looking for. And it's also what Google uses to understand what your page is about. So make sure that this includes your keyword that you want it to get found for, but make sure that it's nice to read and actually makes sense. So I had affordable videographer Wellington, and then I had a little pipe symbol and videos by Ricky. So make sure that you're including like your brand name or something at the end that sort of reiterates what that page is about and what people could find on it. So that's how to optimize a web page to get found in Google. There's still plenty of other things that you need to do in order to get found in Google, like adding links to it from other areas of your website, adding it to your main navigation, and building links from other websites like digital PR. However, that's how you optimize the page itself and the copy and the content on the page. One thing about meta titles is that they have to be 60 characters maximum. So meta titles, also known as the title tag, is what shows up in Google search results. So 60 characters including spaces, but I'm going to cover meta titles in the next episode of how to write them and what they are. So make sure you subscribe. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of SEO Snacks. It was a bit of a schmozzle, so thank you for sticking around. I just wanted to take you through step by step how I optimize a page to get found in Google, and it must have worked because that one's ranking #1 for affordable videographer Wellington. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I can't believe you're still here. If you want to see the next episodes, please subscribe so you don't miss a future one. And if you'd like to nominate a snack, leave it in the comments and I will eat it in the next episode. SEO Snacks.